Hey guys, welcome back to the mat. As always, I'm so happy to have you. Today we're going to be doing a stretchy Pilates sequence. We're going to be really feeling our hamstrings, our back, just kind of making some more space in our body. I think it's really easy to get really tight and locked in to the muscles that we use a lot in our day-to-day life and in our Pilates or yoga practice, depending on what you do. And sometimes it's nice to just really feel good. Just feel nice and stretchy and elongated. And my hope is at the end of this sequence in this class that you will leave feeling like you've just been stretched out like taffy, and I'm so here for it. All right, well, to get started, we're gonna do our usual because you know it's not Pilates without the 100. So let's lie back down and get started. All right, I'm just gonna go for a bit of a stretch to get started. Just waking up my whole body, doing a good morning stretch. If you're coming from the yoga world, arms and legs in opposite directions, and like almost like you're being pulled in two separate spots. Slowing my arms out, I feel into my shoulders. You can do the same, or if it feels better for you to just stay stretched out, feel free. I'm gonna bring in my feet. Knees are gonna be pointing to the sky. And actually, let's just hug our knees in for a second. Really feeling our lower back on the mat. Maybe you wanna rock from side to side. Do a little bit of a hip circle to get a bit of a massage going on back there. Feels good. All right, hands to the sky, legs and tabletop at our 90-degree angle. We're gonna roll right up and get into our 100. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thinking about really rounding through your head, neck, and shoulders as they lift up off of the mat. We're pumping vigorously with our arms. We're not just kind of like letting ourselves float. Our wrists aren't breaking. We are pumping vigorously. All right, let's actually pump at a 90-degree. This one's gonna feel weird, I know, but we're trying new things. We're feeling around. We're getting stretches from every angle. Now we're gonna extend our arms out behind us, and feel free to like lay your head back down if you need to, but we're pumping back here too. Obviously, we'll have a smaller range of motion back here and up towards the sky than we do usually. Let's come back to sky. And we'll do a few more back down here. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you curl up a little bit higher? Curl those head, neck, and shoulders up a little bit. Let's do one more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hug it all in. Feels good. All right, stretch out your body again. We're going right into the roll up. So arms are behind us, coming up towards the sky. And we're gonna roll our body up and over our legs in front of us. When you're fully rotated, you have a scoop through your midsection. This is the first time that we see a Pilates C curve in our sequence, but you'll see it time and time again. We're over. Let's just do 3 little pulses. 2, 3, getting a little bit farther on each one. We're gonna scoop our pelvis back as we rotate back down to the mat. Lower, middle, upper back. Arms come behind us. We're gonna have our arms go wide to the side till they touch the long of our body, back up to the sky. Let's do that same thing again. So we're peeling ourselves off the mat like we're a sticker being pulled off of a wall, of a sheet, off of something like that. We're gonna do little pulses, 2, 3, 4 pulses, hold it. Maybe feel like you can reach even farther past your toes. Scoop back down, moving from your pelvis here to initiate that scoop. Arms come up behind us, wide to the outside, down alongside our body, back up. Let's do one more here. So we're rolling, we're scooping up off of the mat. We're rounding over our own waist, over our own legs as we reach that wall in front of us, and we scoop back down, relaxing our shoulders. Arms come behind our head, scoop around our body alongside, and we're actually gonna leave our palms down here. From here, we're gonna go into a roll over. So we're gonna bring our legs up to a 90-degree we're gonna have them go over our head behind us. We are balancing on our upper back and shoulders and not our neck. From here, let's flex our toes, point our toes. Flex, point. If you can get your toes onto the floor, you can use that to help with your flexing and pointing. Ooh, I'm feeling it so much. Can you try and get your toes in an opposite direction from like your hips and booty? From here, let's open our legs wide, so we're about hips apart, hip width distance apart. We're gonna roll back down vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. Oh, that feels good. Legs extend, they're still wide. Come back together. We're gonna come up and over. Toes touch the ground if you can. And we're gonna flex, bring our feet back to that hip width, roll back down with control. Ah, feels good. Come back together. Last one in this direction. So our feet are together as they come overhead, flexing them, bringing them hip width apart. Flex your feet a lot. You should be able to feel that all through your feet, all throughout the back of these legs here. Flex, flex, flex. We're gonna roll down with feet flexed and hips width apart. Ooh, we're gonna come back up that same way. So hip width apart, up, over. Your feet are flexed as they come over. Bring your feet together, point your toes. Oh, it feels totally different on the top of your foot. Now we're gonna roll back down vertebra by vertebra as we get down to the bottom. Separate your legs, up, over. Bring them together. Roll back down together. Last one, separate your feet, flex your toes. Come back up, over. Flex feet on the floor if you can make it. Draw them together, point your toes here. Roll back down, vertebra by vertebra. Leave your right leg at the 90-degree angle, bring your left foot all the way back down. Now we're gonna be going into single leg circles. So reach for your calf, behind your thigh, whatever you can reach. Pull your hands gently, so gently towards your face. You want to feel a stretch all throughout that back body of that leg. We're going to open it out wide, holding on still. Cross it to the other side, hold it with your left hand, getting a stretch along that outer hip flexor. Come back in. We're gonna start all over. So we're gonna draw our leg towards our face. We're gonna draw it across our body towards the left. We're gonna circle it down and around so it's now outside of our body, holding on with our right leg, giving it a stretch, supporting it, coming back to center. Let's do that exact same thing. So drawing it closer to our face, making sure that we're not pulling too hard on our leg and really giving ourselves an injury. Across your body, so it's over to the left. Feel that stretch along your outer hip here. We're gonna go down, around, so now it's outside, holding onto it with your right leg as you stretch out to the side, coming back to center. Ooh, that feels good. Now let's do that opposite direction. So bringing it into your face, out to the side, holding on with your right leg, right hand to your right leg. If you want to, you can try and stabilize your left hip here with your left hand. We're gonna go down and around. So now we're across our body, holding it with our left leg, getting that stretch, trying to keep our right hip on the mat as our right foot comes across, back to center. So same thing, towards your face, feeling it all in your hamstrings. Out to the side, holding with your right leg, go down and around. So now you're across your body, pulling it with your left leg back to center. All right, so let's do this a little bit faster. Bring it with no hands. So foot to your face, across your midline, down, around, center, to your face, cross, down, around, center, to your face, cross, round. Up and center. Opposite direction, to your face, out, down, in, up, to your face, out, around, down, up, to your face, out, around, across, in. Let's switch legs. Actually, let's hug our right knee into our chest, just giving that hip some love. And then we're gonna switch, bring our left knee into our chest, straightening it up towards the sky. So exact same thing we just did on our right side. We're gonna pull it into our face. Ooh. You can always tell between your two sides which one's the looser and the tighter. Like my right side is so tight and my left leg, it just feels so much more accessible to me. All right, we're gonna bring it across our body. So grabbing it on with your right hand, getting a stretch along this left hip flexor here. We're gonna go down and around outside. So we're holding it with our left leg, giving it a little bit of a stretch here, back to center. So to your face. Oh, you can flex your foot here, point your toes. That'll change the sensation a bit, depending on what you need in your body today. Across your body, down and around. So you're coming to the outside, back to your face. And now let's go the opposite direction. So to your face, outside, giving a stretch wide, down and around across your body, holding on with your right leg. Maybe see if you can keep that hip more on the floor. That'll deepen the stretch in this hip flexor and outer glute. Back together, to your face, outside, down and around, inside stretch, back to center. Same thing now, no hands. So face, in, down, out, center, in, across, down, out, center, in, across, down, out, center, opposite, in, out, down, around, center, in, out, down, across, center, in. I'm gonna flex my foot on this last one just to like feel a different feeling. Ooh, cross, in, center, hug, hug, hug that into your body. Let's hug both of our knees in and roll up to our bum. We're gonna do a couple of rolling like a balls here just to massage our lower back. We're not gonna like add in any more of a stretch than we would normally. It's just gonna feel really good to just kind of like move and groove. So holding on to our ankles, heels are together, toes are apart. Your knees are about shoulder width distance, and we're just going to roll back, roll up. We talked about that C curve earlier in our first exercise, and you should be able to see that same C curve right here. Look at that, capital letter C. Roll back, come up. This will be our last one. Roll back, come up. All right, we're gonna roll back, stay back, bring our right knee into our chest, elongate our left leg. Left hand is on our shoulder, on our knee, right hand is on our ankle. We're pulling it in, pull, 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 switch. Pull your knee in, pull your knee in, pull your knee in, switch. So on each pull, you're getting a little bit closer to your chest, a little less space between your chest and your knee. We're moving really slowly here. Oh, that feels good. All right, both knees in, squeezing together, elongate out. Feel like you're being stretched in two directions. Swim your arms around, then bring your legs in. Stretch in two different directions, bring your arms around, then bring your legs in. I know we're moving slow and that makes it harder, but you know what? That means we're also getting a much better, more intentional stretch with things. Last one, around, in. Rest your head, neck, and shoulders down on the mat. Lift your right leg, extend your left leg long. We're gonna pull. You can actually leave your left leg all the way on the mat. We're gonna pull, 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 3 tiny little pulls. Closer to our face, switch. Pull, pull, pull. Elbows are going wide as we pull in, switch. Pull, pull, pull. Try and think about really driving your opposite heel, like your standing leg heel, into the ground. Switch. And same here, really driving that right heel into the ground as you pull your left leg closer to you. Switch. Let's do the last one each side. Switch. 2, 3, pulling in. Feels good. All right, let's bring both feet up to the sky. And our arms are alongside our body. We're at a 90-degree angle. We're gonna pull them both in, You can grab onto your ankles if you want to, or if you want to just keep your arms long, you fully can. Trying to keep our tailbone heavy as we try and bring our toes closer. Relax. Same thing, tailbone heavy as we bring our toes closer over our face. There we go. You should feel like a really big bi-directional stretch here between your like glutes, upper hamstrings, and your toes. We'll have one last one here. Really thinking about elongating that tailbone. If you could keep your bum on the mat is almost how it should feel here. If you want to bend your knees in a little bit, you can, but it definitely will lessen the stretch, and that's okay if it's just a little bit too much for you. Feels good. All right, we're gonna elongate again. We're actually gonna put our hands behind our head. We're gonna twist, 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 twist. One more each side. Oh, that feels good. Hug your knees in, give them a hug. Stretch yourself back out. All right, let's do another roll up. So we're gonna swing our arms around and down, back up. We're going to roll up to a seated position. And actually, let's separate our legs maybe about hip width distance apart. You can go a little bit wider if that feels better. I'm gonna stick just around, actually, no, let's all go a little bit wider. I'm gonna go almost as wide as my mat. So we have a lot of space in there. I'm sitting up tall on my sits bones. My arms are out in front of me like a little zombie. From here, I'm gonna lower my hands to the mat and I'm going to roll, again, keeping that scoop here. I'm gonna scoop in as I try and reach past my feet. If you're just coming right here, that's totally fine, but we're gonna try and reach like in our head as far forward as we can. We're gonna lift our hands up, so now they're parallel back in that zombie, and we're going to have proud chest as we come back to a seat. From here, we're going to circle our arms wide, 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 touch the mat, come back to our zombie arms, lower it to the mat. Slide, like we're literally pushing something away from us is how I like to think about it. So I'm sliding and pushing my mat away from me as I come over. I'm lifting up, 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 up. Seated tall, proud chest. Hands go down to the side. Back into our zombie. Hands down. Push the mat away. As you come down, you should be feeling the stretch too. This is giving low back, this is giving upper back, this is giving legs. We're reaching forward. We're opening our upper back here, proud chest, down, around, touch the mat. Now we're actually gonna do the same thing in reverse. So we're gonna come up, 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 and we're going to dive into our mat, and we're going to slide ourselves back up, around, up. We're gonna dive. Notice the first thing is a scoop in my abdomen. So I'm scooping, touching the mat in front of me, sliding my hands back up, zombieing my hands, going down, around, up. Last one, scooping my abs, coming to touch the mat with my hands, sliding myself back, back, back to a seated position. All right, from here, we're gonna go into an open leg rocker variation. So if you can, see if you can pick up both legs at the same time and grab your ankles, like 1, 2. You're gonna have to rock back and use your abs a lot here. Pick them up. Ooh, that was actually so hard. I'm surprised I was able to do that. If that's too much for you, we're gonna bring our knees in, extend one leg, extend the other leg. We're gonna go wide to the side. So I'm gonna show you guys from the front what we're doing. So we're like this, we're gonna go wide, come together. Ooh, challenging my balance too. So if you fall out of it, believe me, it happens. Coming back together. Wide, back together. Do a few more of those as I get back into position with you guys. Wide, back together, wide. We're gonna put one leg down wide outside of our mat, other leg down wide outside of our mat. And we're just gonna roll over, getting a nice stretch in our inner thigh. You wanna think about flattening out that lower back so you're getting your chest farther away as opposed to rounding over. That'll also help you get a bit deeper of a stretch in those inner thighs. This is honestly also called wide-legged forward fold if you are a yoga girl, and this is one of my favorite poses. I just love stretching. What can I say? All right, come back up to a seat. Let's come back up into that open leg rocker position so our legs are long. We're gonna do a few rocks. So we're gonna go rock onto our shoulder blades, back, up. And the easiest way I can tell you to get back up is to really accentuate the proud chest. So you're rounding and then you're proud chesting on the way back up, and that'll help come up. So watch my back here. I'm rounding, proud chest to help me balance at the top. Let's flex our feet, point our toes. Flex our feet, point our toes. Flex, bring your feet together in front of you. Can you hold on to your toes? Pull them to your face. Ooh, if this is too much, just hold on to your calf or behind your knees. Really what we're going for right now is just the flex with our feet and legs together. Ooh. This is actually just challenging my balance a lot. Who knew this was a balance class? And a point and flex. Ooh, point and flex, point and flex. Oh, that feels so good. Let's roll ourselves back, keep our legs in a tabletop position. I'm gonna tee my arms out to the side. From here, we're going to go into some TikToks. So let your knees go to the right. You can lift this left hip up. I'm gonna look over to the left, getting a stretch through my low back, back to center. Opposite direction, letting that opposite hip lift, back to center. If you wanna deepen, you can do straight legs. TikToking over, that's a little bit much for me right now today, but if that's what feels better for you and your body, definitely feel free. Something else I also find helpful is to really press into the palm of the hand that my knees are going in the direction of. So my knees are going to the left, I'm pressing really firmly into my left palm to help stabilize. Come back, we'll do one more each side. And last one, back in, hug those knees into your chest, roll back up. We're gonna do wide legs again wider than our mat. So I'm about, I don't know, a hand outside of my mat and a pretty wide V. We're gonna have our arms are in a capital letter T. I'm gonna rotate over towards my right leg, bend over my left. Actually, I'm gonna do this facing you guys so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm in a T, I'm rotating over my right leg, bending over my left, getting a stretch all along this right side, coming back, and then I'm gonna keep rotating and saw off my right pinky toe with my left hand, back up, center. Twisting over my right leg, on my left leg, bending though, side bending over my right leg, getting a stretch all along my left side body, coming back up to that T, pivoting even more, sawing off my little toe. I'm gonna do one more, each side. So turning, stretching left, stretching the opposite way of how you just turned, coming back up, turning more, going over our toe, back to center, twisting, side bending. So I'm side bending over my right leg. My left side is being elongated. Coming back, twisting more, sawing off my toe. All right, now pay attention to this one. It's a little bit funky. We're gonna twist over to our right leg, putting both hands on the mat. So it's a very deep twist here. Your left leg is going to be pivoting and you're gonna bring your chest to the mat. Keeping your legs in that same wide position, just getting a different stretch through your upper back or your lower back, sorry. And think, can you keep your left hip kind of heavy? Like it's going to come up off the mat, but if you, the heavier and more to the left you keep it, the more of a stretch you'll be able to get. Press yourself back up, come back to center. We're gonna counter stretch, so we're twisting over to the left, both hands come down. We're going to twist our body, rolling onto that left hip, trying to keep our right hip somewhat behind us, stretching on down, feeling this through our lower back. Ooh, that feels so good. Ah, nice. And actually from here, let's just keep on flipping over until we land on our stomach. From here, we're gonna have our hands just outside of our mat in what we call piano fingers. I know a lot of times we don't want piano fingers, but today for our stretchy class, we definitely do. Elbows are high to the sky. Lift your chest, sink your left shoulder down, left cheek also towards the mat. You're looking over to your right side. Back to center, sink your right shoulder down. You're looking towards your left. Really wanting to make sure that your hips stay square here. You want to make sure you're not twisting through your whole body like we just were for that like saw variation. You're only going through your upper back. All right, this is our last one on our left, over looking towards our left. Bring your hands underneath you into like a sphinx pose, so your arms are parallel with one another. Your elbows are underneath your shoulders. We're just gonna do a little bit of neck rolling here. So I'm gonna look over to behind my right shoulder, like somebody just called my name. I'm like, oh, hey, what is it? Looking. I'm gonna dip my chin, trace along my collarbone until I'm looking over my left shoulder. You want to make sure that your toenails are firmly planting into the ground here. Back to center. I'm looking over my left. I'm tracing my collarbone with my chin, keeping my shoulders rounded back. Back to center. We're going to do one more each direction. So looking, rolling. Get a nice stretch through that neck. Back to center. And then last one, looking over our left shoulder. Putting our chin to our shoulder and then rolling it all around until we're looking over our right shoulder again. Come back to center. Let's come all the way down. Let's do our left cheek to the mat. So we're looking over to the right. We're gonna grab our left leg with our left hand, our left foot rather, and we're just gonna draw our heel to our bum, getting a bit of a quad stretch. Making sure also, like I mentioned earlier, that your legs are pretty close together. You want to try and keep your knees together. If we start splaying out to the side, we'll give ourselves an injury. Pulling that in, feeling that stretch. Let's switch sides. So we're going to switch our opposite cheek. We're going to grab our right foot with our right hand, pulling it gently into our bum, feeling our stretch through our right quad. You can think about pressing your foot as firmly into your hand as your hand is pulling on your foot. So you're getting a little bit more opposition there. Let's switch back to the original side. And I'm keeping my right hand like just underneath my shoulder as a bit of stability. I think I'd be rocking a little bit too much. So you might want to try and do the same thing. All right, one more switch. Right cheek down, grabbing my right foot with my right hand. Just feeling through that quad stretch. Feels good. All right, let's press back to a child's pose. That was a lot of low back. So we got to make sure that we're counteracting all the work that we just did. Pressing firmly through your hands so that your shoulders were engaged, your elbows are lifted up off of the mat. You're drawing everything in, almost like you could widen your upper back. All right, now we're gonna come into our side lying series. So I'm gonna lay it down on my left side here. My right leg is going to be a little bit higher up. And today we're going to have our head rest on our hand and our feet are going to be slightly in front of our body per usual. All right, let's get started. Let's kick forward with our foot, grab onto our leg, do a little bit of a pull. I told you guys before, I'm not as good on my right side. So if all you can grab is your thigh, we're just drawing it forward just a little bit. And then we're gonna lengthen back, back, back. Almost like this is the longest leg you could ever do while still maintaining the stability of your upper body. We're gonna swing back around, grab your leg, draw it closer to your face. 2, 3, kicking it back, back, back. This is much slower than we usually move, and that is so intentional. Coming back to our face, hold onto your ankle or your calf or behind your thigh. Bring it closer. back, 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 stretching through the front of that hip flexor as you draw your leg back. Bring your legs together. Now we're gonna externally rotate, so our knee is facing the ceiling now. We're going to kick up. We're gonna grab our ankle or our calf or behind our thigh. We're gonna pull it closer to our body. Let it lengthen, flex our foot as we go down. We're gonna kick back up, hold onto our leg, pull it in, pushing it out, out, out. Almost like we're resisting it, like we're moving it through like honey or something like quicksand, something like that. Last one, we're gonna hold it, pull, pull, pull. Can you reach a little bit higher? If you started on your thigh, can you get higher on your thigh? Can you get to the bottom of your calf? Like, just see how much farther you can go. When you flex your foot here, point your foot. Flex, point, flex, point, flex, bringing it down. All right, let's switch sides. You guys can just roll over, but I'm going to come facing you on the other side of my mat. Again, our hand is supporting our head. Our feet are slightly in front of our body, but we have one long line from our shoulders to our hips. We're gonna draw our foot in front of us, hold on as high as we can, pulling it forward, 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 kicking it back down, feeling a stretch through our upper hip flexors. Maybe leaning a little bit forward to get more of a stretch going this way. We're gonna kick it forward, hold on, kick, 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 and release it behind us, leaning slightly forward as we get more of a stretch along that hip flexor, coming back to neutral, kicking it forward, holding on, kicking it back, getting a slight twist, 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 coming back foot to foot. Externally rotating, so our knee is now pointing towards the ceiling. We're gonna lift it up, hold on, give it a pull, pull, pull. Oops, lost a little bit of my balance there. Making sure that you're really firmly on those hips and that your hips are stacked. Moving slowly, slowly, slowly with a flex foot as they come back together. Come back up. And again, if all you can hold on to is right here and you're just trying to work your balance, that's totally fine. No need to like overly stress yourself, but this is a super fun class to come back to and see if your flexibility, some of that stretching has changed over time. Let's do our last one. Hold on, see if you can get a little bit higher than you were before. See if you can still stabilize your body. I feel like I am being so wobbly right now. Helps to really flex through that supporting leg. So right now our right leg, really, really flexing, pull, 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 and we're coming back down. Ooh, that feels so good. All right, let's go into some mermaid. So we're going to be sitting kind of like in an interestingly like 90-90. So my right leg is bent in front of me, my shin is facing you guys, and then my left shin is facing the side of my mat. Both of my sits bones are as close to the floor as I can get them. This one's not all the way down, but you want to try and be as like stable in your hips and like balance with no hands as possible. Put our right hand on the mat, and we're just gonna stretch over, bending our elbow back, getting a stretch along our side body, facing the mat to deepen that stretch, coming back up. Hold on to that shin. We're gonna stretch over the other side. Again, you can pivot your head to face the ground to really deepen that stretch. Let's do one more each side. So elbow goes back, behind. We're gonna stretch up. I'm gonna pivot my head down and maybe a little bit of my shoulders down to get a different sensation. Back. Ooh, I love a side bend. All right, let's switch legs. So now our left foot is going to come to the front of the mat. Our right shin is going to come parallel to the front of the mat here. Our left hand is down. Our right arm is up alongside us. We're gonna bend our elbow back in towards our body as we stretch up and over, trying to keep our shoulders and our back. I'm not sure if you guys even noticed, but I was so scrunched up here, I had to loosen my shoulders a little bit too. Coming back, holding onto our shin as we lean over towards the right, getting all that extra space in here. Back to that original side, elbow goes back. We can talk about doing our head down to make sure we're getting a bit more of a stretch. We're pivoting just a little bit in our shoulders. Back to center, holding on to that shin. I'm gonna look down, pivot just a smidgen, come back up. Oh, there we go. All right, now we're in the final stretch. We're almost done, but we are gonna do a little like what would be front splits on a reformer. We're gonna do it on the mat instead. So, if you're gonna come to your hands and knees, mid-mat, facing the top of your mat, bring your right leg up in front, in between your hands. If it doesn't necessarily go up on the first try, that's totally fine. As long as it gets up there, we are all good. Here, we're just going to hold on lightly to the mat. So we're, again, piano fingers here, feeling our stretch through our front hip flexors of our left leg. Knee is bent on the right foot. We're gonna extend our knee. Ooh, this is so much for me. Moving our hips back, getting a stretch along that hamstring. Hands are still on the mat. If you have yoga blocks or Pilates blocks handy, let me just grab them so I can show you guys what it looks like with blocks. So we have our hand on our blocks, just brings our floor a little bit closer to us. So we're extending this way, and then we're going to go into that hamstring half split action. Coming back, proud chest. Maybe you're tilting your chin ever so slightly up. Pressing back through your heel of that front foot. Toes are lifting, hips are coming back behind you. Let's do one more. I'm gonna put my blocks back down. Just gonna stay on the tips of my fingers. Back, back, back. Heel is digging into the mat. My toes are flexing back towards my face. Let's point our toe, flex our foot. Point our toe, flex our foot. Bring it back to neutral. Bring your foot back to meet your other knee. So you're back in that tabletop position. Let's come up to kneeling. We're gonna do a little bit of a thigh stretch prep if you were on the reformer, but we're on the mat, which makes it even more fun. We're gonna bring our hands up, 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 and we're just going to have, like we have somebody pulling a string, just proud, proud chest, not letting our neck go too far back, pressing our hips forward, proud chest. If you wanna stay here, that's totally fine. If you wanna go a little bit deeper, we're gonna grab your right heel with your right hand, your left heel with your left hand, tip your head back, press your hips to the wall in front of you. Ooh. To come out of it, left arm up, right arm up. Let's just sink back into our heels, do a tiny little child's pose, counteract all of that low back stretching. Back up to hands and knees. Now we're gonna have our left foot out in front of us, so it's right in between our hands. Right leg is long behind us, knee is to the ground, toenails are planting into the mat. We're going to hinge forward, so we're getting more of a stretch through our hip flexor. Knee comes slightly forward on that front leg, and then we're going to straighten our leg, pressing our heel into the mat as we come back to a half split position. Let's come back forward, foot is flat. Again, if you want to use blocks here, I'll show you what that looks like. You're getting a stretch through that right hip, thinking about keeping your hips square, not splaying out either direction. You want to really make sure that your sits bones and your hip bones are in line with one another. And we're going to press back, back, back. If you'd rather have your toe flex under like this, you can feel free. It might give you a bit more stability, which is a nice feeling to have. Coming back forward. Maybe you can have a proud chest. You can have your chin tilted ever so slightly towards the ceiling. Back, back, back. Straight knee in that front leg if you can handle it. As close to straight as we can get, thinking about squaring off our hips. I'm gonna do one more without blocks, just so you guys can see. I'm on my fingertips. Proud, proud chest. And then I'm gonna come back, back, back. I'm gonna come back to this tabletop position. And that is it. We are all done. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this beautiful stretchy mat sequence. I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.